Hi guys. Okay, today we're going to talk about percussion revolver cartridges. And I know I've been promising this for a while, so we're going to try to do it fairly quick and not get dragged down. I'm out at the shooting range, so you're going to hear some shooting. A couple of months back, I got Dustin Waniger's reloading cartridge set. Now this has got all the various components that you need in it for a 36, the mandrel and the rammer, and there's a powder measure in the top of it, a small funnel for putting the powder down into the cartridge. There is the 44 caliber for the standard, and then there's one that's got a big W on it for walkers, and we'll get to this in a minute, how this can also be used for the other, but we'll get to that in a minute. Then have a thing of glue, some pre-cut ends out of cigarette paper, a small chapstick like thing full of bullet lubricant. Great idea, Dustin, really great idea for this. And then a package of the cigarette papers that we're going to use for making the cartridges. Now I went one step further and I went down to Hobby Lobby and I got me a circle cutter so I could slide the papers in here and punch out these little pre-made end caps ahead of time. So this does not come as a kit, but I went and bought mine. I think it's like $4, so it was $4 or $5. It wasn't expensive. But any of your Hobby Lobbies, you figure out how wide across you wanted, and I forget the exact number to be honest with you, but it's like a 5/8 of an inch, something like. It's about the size of a penny is what these are. So let's put one together right quick, just so we can, show you how the process works. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the 44 caliber mandrel. I'm going to get out my scissors. I keep in here for this. I've got a ammo box I put all these parts in. Take one of the papers, right quick. There is a gummed edge that you lick to stick it. I'm going to put that to the top. I'm going to fold it in half like that. So that gummed edge is up there on the top. And for what I found for the basic 44 and 36, this folded in half is more than enough. So you're fine. Pull it tight, take my scissors, run down. Now I've got two pieces of paper. Take my glue stick, and along that top edge where the gum is, I'm going to hold it against my finger like that. I'm going to take that glue stick and I'm going to go away from me. And just about that 1/4 inch right there, I'm going to wet with that glue. I'm going to take the 44 caliber mandrel. That top edge right there is glued. I'm going to set it here on the bottom, and I'm going to roll it up as tight as I can, trying to keep it as straight as I can, up here, and then you see that glued edge rolls over the top. Now once I press it down good and tight, I'm going to slide the mandrel in just a little bit tighter. See, and that tightens everything up. And any waste on the bottom, I just kind of push it over. Now it's okay if there's a little bit. Don't have a big glob up there that might affect ignition, but a little is okay. Just roll it over. Okay? Squeeze it real good and make sure it's good and tight. Now this is something that Dustin doesn't talk about, but I want to bring it up right quick. The mandrel is tapered, so it goes in. If you try to put it in backwards, it doesn't go in but just a little bit, see? Correctly, it goes deep. Incorrectly, it goes up. But these ends ain't marked. So what I did was I put an X on the wrong way. So when I'm laying it up here and I get it and I try to ram it, I don't stick it. Old guy, So I put it with the bottom mark down. I take one of my little pre-made up circles of paper. I'm going to lay it across the top of that opening. Just like that. Okay. Now on the actual mandrel, it's still got the paper on it. This last 1/4 inch down here, I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to glue it, that last 1/4 inch down there. Okay? Now I simply, with that piece of paper laying across the top, I push down and that traps that, see, on the bottom. Pushes it through it. just like that. And now it's stuck on there. I'm going to take my fingertips and I'm going to roll it, make sure it's fully stuck all the way around. And now, taking my box cutter, there is a bulge in the mandrel. You can see it right here where it comes up. That's the correct marking for how long it's supposed to be. So I feel of that with my finger and I kind of press it down so I can see it. Now I'm going to take my box cutter blade, I'm just going to lightly, not cut into the mandrel, but just turn it and slowly cut into that all the way around. Then take my fingernail and tear that excess off right there. Now I've got just the cartridge on there. Okay, now the next step. I've created the tube. Now I could set this aside and let it dry, or I can go on. I'm going to go on. Keeping the mandrel, the base facing the right way, I'm now going to grab a hold of that tube I made and give the mandrel a twist and it'll come free, see? And I'm going to take and put it into that base, just like that. Now with it sitting there, I'm going to take the powder measure and I'm going to fill up this chamber in the top of the rammer. That's your powder measure. Just fill it up so it's flush. Give it a little tap to settle it down a little. And now remember that little bitty funnel? I put the funnel in the opening and pour in the powder. Now I take the end of the mandrel and I sit it down there and I kind of compact that powder just a grunt. Okay? Now we're loading Johnson & Era's Gone bullet molds, Johnson & Dow bullets, 44 caliber. Okay? And I pre-lubed mine with liquid L-Ox. So now around here at the base, I'm going to take the glue stick and I'm just going to glue that bottom shank that goes into the powder cartridge. And very gently, I'm going to sit it in there. Now it's sitting inside that paper. Now I'm going to push straight down. Pretty good bit with my thumb. What that does is it forms out any voids, grips it. And then once I push down, I lift it up and I push down just a little bit more. Just like that. And it'll scrunch down. That's biting it tight against the actual mandrel. See that sticking up? Now I give that a little push with the base sticking out of the cartridge. A little push with the mandrel. Real gentle. Poof. And out comes a loaded cartridge. There is the complete loaded Johnson & Dow cartridge ready to go. Lubricated, pulley nice and tight, no seams, no creases. Now this we'll turn and utilize to make our cartridge bundles, and that's next. Okay, now that you've created your paper cartridges, carrying them in the field, you can carry a cartridge box like you put modern ammunition into to carry to the range. And that makes a great speed up for our shooting. Be able to just pull and load and go bang. On the other hand, I want to carry these in the field as an everyday carry along and as something for hunting. So I want an efficient way, more like our modern cartridge, be able to reach and pop, reload and keep going. And so I wanted to do that. So I looked at how they did them in the day, and Mark Hubbs of Era's Gone Bullet Molds did a thing showing about making packets, which is paper cartridges wrapped in paper and tied with string. And that seemed okay, but I want to do this in modern. Is there something better? Yes, there is. And what that is aluminum foil. So what I did was this. I created a cartridge board. And Dustin Winnegar and Mark Hubbs and anybody else out there, feel free to use this. Don't think it's just my little thing, but it's my little twist on it. I've marked how far apart they need to be for the given ammunition that I'm generating, and that needs to vary a little bit. That's how I set that one in there. So this is the Johnson & Dow 44. That's the 36 round ball. That's the 44 round ball, and then the Richmond bullet, and etc. As I do those, I'll put the markers on this so I can make these packets. Now what I'm going to do is create this. Now what that is 6 cartridges held tight in there with 7 caps, and then it's folded over, and I take a piece of the sticky labels that sticks across the top and seals it and allows me to say what it is. 44 Johnson & Dow, loaded with Pyrex, 25 grains Pyrex. I know what that is. And now that's much more weather resistant than paper is, so carrying it in the field is not going to affect that aluminum foil, and therefore I'm protecting the cartridges better. See what I'm saying? So let's make one of those right quick. First thing we're going to do is we've got our measured board made up, and we're going to cut a piece of foil to the proper size. And usually for this, I'm going to say it's about, I start with like 4 inches, something like that. Okay, and now take it, pull it out tight, and I'm going to put it into the 44 Johnson Dow mold right in the middle, and I'm going to squeeze the corners so that they're square. Okay, just like that. Where's the trough? Now I'm going to take my Johnson & Dows, and I'm going to alternate where one bullet that way, one bullet this way. I'm going to load 6 of them in there, alternating the bullets. Now I've measured it so that the cartridge plus the foil makes a snug fit in there. Just like that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do 5 this time because I haven't got 6 made up right. Oh, there it is, 6. I knew I had 6. I was thinking I'm losing my mind. 6. Now I'm going to squeeze them together this way a little bit. I'm going to take the top piece of foil, I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to take the longer piece from the other side, and I'm going to crimp them together, okay? Just like that. Now lifting up that other side so it doesn't run away from me, I'm going to mash it flat up tight. Oh, and usually I would take a small piece of aluminum foil that had 7 caps in it and put it on one end. Either end does fine. Okay? Mash it flat up tight like that. Now I'm going to take this side, I'm going to pull it over just like that. So that line creases all the way across that edge. See? I folded this side over. See that sharp edge right there? Now I'm going to take this side, that's now excess. I'm going to cut off my excess, leaving just that tab, and I'm going to fold it a little that way and then go up and over the top, squeezing it flat. Okay? This is going to make this end of the packet. Just like that. Now, put your fingers on the far side and hold so you don't shove them out that side. Now, on the far one, I'm going to take the aluminum foil, mash it down tight on that end, and do the same thing. I'm going to fold it across, get you better that, fold it across that end, and then I'm going to take it and fold back this way so I've got my 2 points. This excess I'm going to leave a little longer because that's going to go across my top. Like that. Now I'm going to fold it up and over and go over the top. I want this piece to be long enough to overlap almost completely with this end. I want some fresh gap, but you see what I'm saying. And now I kind of squeeze it all together, pushing and pushing. And out comes my packet. A little pressy here, a little pressy there. Make sure there's no sharp edges of aluminum foil anywhere, or sharp points at the points. Now, to keep that from wanting to unfold, because you know it'll hold a pretty good bit, but you know, that's where I get one of these cheapo labels like you buy at the office supply store to go on to files or whatever, and it's just adhesive. And I'm going to put it across the top and stick it down real good. Now that will hold it closed, and it will also give me the opportunity now to write what kind it is on it. Okay, the next is, we've created the cartridges, we've made packets of the cartridges. Now I want to be able to carry it with me. Now this is one method, and this is a big hunting bag for me, and I want a smaller bag, and I'm designing a smaller bag for me to carry in front of my holster so that I've got a quick grab where I carry just 6, maybe 1 extra packet. This is a big hunting pouch for me. This is a Civil War cartridge pouch. But what I'm doing in here is, as you can see when I open it up, I've come up with a way to have 6 quick reloads right there where I can just grab it and pull out my cartridges and have my capper handy. And then down in here around it I have my foil 6 with cap reloads. So I can carry easily in here probably 50 rounds of ammunition, 40, 50 at least. And I got 6 ready to go. Well, that means I'm going to pull, load, so that I can, as I'm hunting, I shoot, I make sure there's no burning ember, blow, make sure it's good. I take, reload, and I'm still good up for hunting. I then use up these 6 cartridges, keeping my revolver loaded with 5 as I'm walking around the field. And that way if I have to do 2 shots on a running bunny or whatever, or there's one target and there's another target quick, I can stay loaded. I top back up from here. When this gets empty, I bring out one of my packets, open it up, and refill this, and I then refill my capper with the appropriate amount of caps. So I stay loaded up, and I can stay in the field longer and not have to carry a flask or anything like that. This would be a big hunt pouch, like I'm saying. The smaller pouch, which would be for just a stroll or a companion with it, I would want 1 quick reload, 2 spare packages, and then what I've got on the gun. That's 4 total cylinders worth. That's more than enough for a camping, woods running, whatever. More than enough. Okay, now I've got my cartridge, my Johnson & Dow bullet I just created. I'll put the gun on half cock, make sure everything's clear and ready to go. I'm going to take it and I'm going to set it into the chamber and kind of rotate it a little bit as I push it down and in. See, now it's sitting in position. Now I rotate it under the rammer. I'm going to slide it down, and I want to make sure it's centering up. It's not binding left to right. It's going into the rammer or being captured properly. Then I'm going to put the butt of the gun against my rib, and I'm going to send it home, just like that. Now I'm going to raise up before I rotate and make sure it's completely seated. Just like that. I have a mark on my rammer. I have 2 dots, one over the other. When the bottom dot disappears, but I can still see the top dot, I'm at a consistent depth, and these are full cartridges for this revolver, so that is my full hunting charge right there. Now see, the cylinder spins freely. Now I go and cap it and fire. Let me do all 6 and we'll shoot. Okay, today I'm using this star capper. I got these offline to see how they're going to do. I load it up, we just need a cap. Take, push it in, pull off, like that, and you are capped. It seems to work fairly well. And there. Now that's simply a little chamber for the cap, and then it's split, as you can see, so it holds it and then it'll let go and spread off, go pop when you come off of it. I got like 4 of these for like 10 or 12 bucks off of eBay. That's what I'm trying them out right now, and they seem to be working fairly well. Okay, loaded with the Johnson & Dow paper cartridges. Let's see how it shoots. Now I'm not going for group, I'm just firing, okay? So we'll see how much boom and thunder they generate. Okay, all 6 went. Pretty good and reliable pop to it. Now let's see if there's anything left in the chamber. Okay, now in the bright sunlight, of course the gun's in it at an angle where I can look down in the chamber. And I see no paper residue left down there. So I got a clean burn, completely consumed. And so it fired reliably and accurately. I was aiming for a part on the backstop back there, a piece of shattered clay pigeon, and I was hitting right there around it. I wasn't going for accuracy again, but it was putting them where I was looking for. So that makes it a very efficient way to carry it in the field. Now to reload and go back to the field. So in summary, the cap and ball revolver can be very viable today in the field as a companion gun, a woods gun, a small game hunting gun, anything up through hog at close range. It can perform, especially when we're using Johnson Dow or Cato bullets for doing the job. Dustin Waniger's kit is a big thumbs up from Blackie. This has got all the tools I need, and we'll do more with this in the future, but I want you to see it in operation and see how I'm utilizing it in my experiments right now. And this has been a real help to me of having all the tools I needed to create paper cartridges in a hurry. By creating these little packages of cartridges I can carry in the field, now I don't have to carry a flask or nothing like that. This and caps is what I need to make that gun work. A small little compact cleaning kit to spruce up after long strings and things like that, and this is all I need in the field. So a small pouch can carry everything I need. Hope this gives you some ideas, guys. Please leave any questions or comments below. And until next time, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys. Just get my hand.
Okay.
Okay, now what we're going to do is, this is the gummed edge of the paper. I'm going to coat about that 1/4 inch right there. Now I take the mandrel and I start at the bottom, putting it 3/4 way in, and I'm going to roll it around, holding as tight as you can, and roll it till that glue edge comes up. Now see, that's not very tight. That's fine because I grabbed the paper and I scoot it in, and see how it tightens up? Okay, it's nice and tight, just a little bit edge up here. Okay. Now, I take my little circular cut piece and the mandrel. I'm going to lay it across the top of it. I'm going to take about that bottom 1/4 inch and I'm going to put the glue on it. Now I push it straight into the middle and it will push around. Push it all the way down. I want to lift that ring up just a little, and that squeezes it. Now I have a completely created tube. I take it out and take my fingers, squeeze it down. Okay. Now, along the edge of the mandrel, you see how it flares out and becomes a ridge right there? Take your fingernail and just push down on it and kind of crease it around. And I take my box cutter and follow that crease. I just hold it against it and turn the mandrel to cut it all the way around. Just like that. Don't take much pressure. I'm not trying to cut the mandrel, I'm just trying to cut the paper. And you cut it, slide it off, just like that. And now, giving it a little twist, I have the tube. Back into the base, I put the tube, just like that. Now here in the top is your powder measure. I'm going to fill that solid full of gunpowder. Just like that, and I'm using Pyrex for this. Give it a little tap like that. And then you take your little funnel, set the funnel into the paper tube, and use that to pour the powder in. Now once the powder's in there, I like to take the end of the mandrel and give it just a little tap and that will kind of level it out and stick it. Now I take, there it is, my bullet. In this case it's going to be a Johnson & Dow bullet, and I'll take and roll so that lower edge below that band, this is the part that sits into the chamber, and this is where you glue the paper. I'm going to take it and rotate it, putting a good coating of glue all the way around. And I'm going to take it, kind of cock it a little bit and set one edge in, and then line it up. Now it's sitting square. I take my finger and I push down, and that kind of wedges it, and I lift up on the mandrel just a little. And that will cause it to stick out a little bit at the bottom, and it kind of squeezes it. Now I take it and I push, and out comes the loaded cartridge. Just like that. That's how we load one of these cartridges.